Hey, what's up? It's Tom Bruni, and today's video is all about getting to know me personally. We're going to keep it super casual, and I'm going to walk you guys through my life over the last 27 years. And the reason for doing this is because I think it's super important if I'm asking you to invest some of your time with me, that you really understand what moments make me who I am today, what my experiences have been, all that good stuff. So hopefully this video doesn't get too long, but I put together some photos to help me tell this story and hopefully keep me on track. But without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so let's start with the basics. I grew up on Long Island, New York, on the South Shore. Lived there my entire life with my parents and older sister. And my parents always seemed to struggle financially, but they made sure that we had a roof over our head, food on the table, access to a good school, and pretty much everything we needed to help write our own ticket as long as we worked hard. So they did their best, and my childhood, although it had some bumps, was relatively good. I don't know you guys well enough to be breaking out the baby photos of me just yet, so you'll have to settle for a picture of baby Tom in high school. I was part of the winter track team for one season, which honestly was a perfect fit for me. Have exercise-induced asthma at the time, constant asthma attacks. I hated running. I hated the cold in the winter, so not sure why I joined, but whatever. That's what I decided to do. Played baseball when I was younger, but decided that I wanted to stop at like 13 or 14 to dedicate more time to important things like video games. I didn't have a ton of guidance or confidence when I was younger, but I was really pretty decent at video games, so I spent a lot of time playing MMOs, real-time strategy games like Command and Conquer, some first-person shooters like Team Fortress and Counter-Strike, but most of my time was spent on the MMOs like World of Warcraft, Tales of Pirates, RuneScape, Neo Steam. Like those were some of the things that I spent all of my time on. Despite spending most of my time on video games, I did enough work to skate by and kind of keep everyone happy. My parents were super strict, specifically my dad, so any phone calls home from the school were not a good thing. So I did enough work to keep everyone happy, keep everyone at bay, and also get some college credit through some AP courses and all that good stuff. But it wasn't until 11th grade when I took college accounting and business and personal law, and I really excelled at both of those, that my college accounting teacher took a liking to me and kind of pushed me in the right direction. At the time, people were starting to apply for college, and for me, I didn't have any guidance, didn't know what the hell I was doing. So I said, all right, my parents are broke, I don't have any money, so I'm going to community college. That's my only option. And so I wasn't even going to apply to other schools, but my accounting teacher forced me to take a interview at this school called Molloy College, which was a local school that was just opening a division of business. They were never a business school, but they just opened, and they were giving out money left and right in terms of scholarships to kind of build the program and get people in there. So anyway, I went to the interview, totally bombed, didn't get into the honors program initially, but they gave me a shot just as a regular student, and they gave me, I think, like a 70% or three-quarter scholarship or whatever, and that was about the same price as going to community college. So I said, all right, well, I guess I'm going here, and we'll see what happens. And that was the first major inflection point for me. It helped me realize like what was possible, and that my narrow view of the world and what I could do was kind of expanding. So took advantage of it. I signed up to be an accounting major because that's what I was good at in high school. And the other great thing is because they were just starting out, they accepted a lot of the college credits that I got in high school. So all of the AP courses I took, the college classes, all that added up to about 30 some odd credits. So before I even stepped in the door, I was considered a sophomore my first year, which allowed me to skip a lot of gen eds and do a lot of the major courses early on, and really set me up for success in the future. And where this really came into play was the CPA, the Certified Public Accounting Exam, which I took later and in the process of getting licensed. But typically you need 150 credit hours of education at a university or college to be able to get certified. And if you're an undergraduate program, you typically only get, I think it's 128 credits. So if you're going to get the designation, you typically need to go on and get a master's degree or some other postgraduate degree to get you to that 150 credits. But because I had taken so many classes in high school, I was able to finish the 150 credits in just 4 years in college, as opposed to going on, spending another year in school and all that good stuff. So I owe a debt of gratitude to my high school teacher for kind of pushing me in the right direction. And that's when things kind of started to take off. And so the summer after my freshman year, I got my first internship, which is amazing because at most other colleges, you can't even apply to internships until your junior or senior year when you're closer to graduating. But here I was as a freshman getting real world corporate experience, and that really set me up for success in the future. And so my first internship was at XO Group, which is a magazine brand, online brand that owns The Knot, The Nest, The Bump. Basically, they create media for people that are going through the common life stages of getting married, having children, and then buying a home and all that good stuff. So I was an accounting intern there. I didn't do anything with creativity or media or whatever, but I was in the accounting department. And this was a big step for me because I had to go into the city by myself for the interview, prep my resume, get there on time, nail the interview, get hired, and do a good job. And I did all of that. And I did so well that they even invited me back for the next summer right when I left. They were like, hey, you available next summer? And I was like, hell yeah, I'm making money, I'm doing stuff, I'm in the city, this is awesome. Like, of course I'm coming back. So I spent 2 summers there, and it was a great experience. And at the time, I also started my own brand called BruniCharting. This is where I was practicing my technical analysis skills, learning about the financial markets, and just trying to understand what was happening and how I could potentially make some money and make a career out of it. So this is a tweet I put out in 2013. Hey, I got a new website. This is the website, blah, blah, blah. And that's when my blogging career kind of started. It was also around this time that one of my family members noticed I was taking an interest in the stock market, and he said, well, if you go ahead and put together a partnership agreement, I'll give you $2,000 to invest, and we'll see how it goes in a year, and yada, yada, whatever. So I drafted a partnership agreement. He put $2,000 in, I put in $1,000, and off I went. I read a couple books, and I thought I was ready to start trading, and trade I did. Man, this was 2013. As you can see up here, my P&L for the year was negative $1,354. So in a $3,000 account, I think I lost 40 some odd % of the value of that account trading options. And that's where my real experience in the market started. That taught me that I know nothing. It also taught me the experience of like taking responsibility for your actions and being accountable. I had to send updates to my uncle every month, and every month I hated doing it because the results were so bad. And I was just like, hey, here's your investor update. We're down another 10% this month, blah, blah, blah. And I just felt like complete shit. And at the end of the year, I actually decided that I was going to make him whole because I just couldn't live with the fact that I had lost him money. So the market was up like 30% that year. I couldn't match that return clearly. So I decided that I was just going to give him his money back, give him a little interest, and hopefully we can still remain friends. So at the end of the day, he's still my uncle. We're good. But yeah, that taught me a lot about markets, a lot about business, and really just a good opportunity to get kicked in the teeth and have to get back up. So that was also my first year in college, and I was doing super well. I think I got a 4.0 or something close to it. I was involved in clubs. I was super active in the investment club, and people were starting to take notice of me on campus. So my advisor brought me in and said, hey, would you like to be upgraded to the business honors program? You can go through an interview, blah, 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 redo the interview that you did initially, and hopefully this time you don't mess it up. And I was like, all right, sure, let's do it. So I did the interview, and ultimately I was asked to join the business honors program, where I spent the rest of my college career. But basically what that was is just more advanced classes and more opportunities at the college, which was awesome. So that felt good. I was gaining traction. My hard work was paying off, and people were starting to notice. Technical analysis continued to be a very important part of my life. I spent every waking hour looking at charts, learning as much as I could. And I decided that some of the people I was seeing on Twitter, one of them being JC Peretz at All Star Charts, I decided, hey, I want to go meet this guy. So I went to a CMT Association event in New York City, tracked him down, said hello, kept in touch, sent him some of my work constantly. And finally, I mustered up the courage to ask him if he was taking on any interns or if I could come just sit around the office and check out what was happening. So that's what I did. I spent an entire semester, stacked all my classes into 2 days, and spent the rest of the time commuting to New York City to look over his shoulder and try to add value wherever I could. And this was an awesome experience. I got to learn a ton by looking over his shoulder. And this is where our relationship really started to build, because I remember one night I was sitting there and we were going through the chart book and he was doing his work and I was behind him kind of replicating and adding input where I could. And I go, oh, before you move on, you missed that in the chart. And he goes, missed what? I go, oh, there's a Fibonacci extension here. Like, I think it's relevant. Maybe you should add it. And he goes, I didn't miss anything. And lo and behold, he checks and he goes, oh, shit. Yeah, you're right. I did miss it. And so that was kind of like the spark that like, hey, I might be onto something. And the same thing for him, that like, hey, this kid might be onto something. So, you know, that was a super cool moment for me during that semester. And I got to follow him around and go to, you know, Fox and CNBC and all these places that he was doing media for. So that was my first kind of taste of the financial world and really understanding what it took to run a business and, you know, write research and all that good stuff. So that was awesome. So while I was working there and going to school, I was also interviewing for my next internship the following summer at some of the biggest accounting firms. And luckily, I was able to land an internship with the Ernst & Young Risk Advisory Division, and part of their consulting brand. And so I finally had an internship set up at a Big Four accounting firm. And that's kind of the goal. When you're an accounting major, you get an internship at a Big Four firm. And then eventually, if you do well at the internship, which pretty much everyone does, then you get hired full time and you're good to go. Like, you're set. That's the dream. So this is a picture of me back then interning, and even then I knew one day I'd be asking people to hit the like button, so go ahead and hit that thumbs up. Would really appreciate it and would help the channel a bunch. Moving on, I met a lot of people on social media that had similar interests, especially kids in college. So we hooked up and we created a site called Dorm Room Capital, where we all published our different research. Some of us were day traders, some of us were swing traders. I was kind of like the macro guy. And there was like 3 or 4 of us at the time. And it was really cool because we started to get more traction for our own brands and started syndicating some of our work to some of the other publications out there like See It Market or Benzinga or all that stuff. So that was super cool. So I had some asset management experience under my belt and decided I wanted to see the wealth management side. And so I had a teacher that was willing to take me on at his firm as an intern. And my goal was to learn about the research and portfolio management aspects of the business. And so to help me do that, he took a bunch of smaller accounts that he had that needed to be reallocated more efficiently and said, here you go. Figure out what to do with all these, because we have roughly $14 million across all these different investments, and we want to consolidate it down to a couple funds so that it's managed properly and that we can create more efficient accounts for those smaller clients. And so I worked on that for an entire semester, and basically the end goal was I took assets that were across 134 different mutual funds and consolidated them down to about 10 and created more optimized kind of investment portfolios for those clients. So that was super cool. Ultimately, I decided that wasn't really what I wanted to do. I didn't enjoy the experience all that much, but to have somebody sit there and say, here's $14 million, figure out what to do with it, and then actually follow through with your recommendations after they looked at it, like, that was really cool. And it gave me another boost of confidence that, like, hey, I'm doing a lot of things that are making sense, I'm learning, and I'm building a great network, so I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. So at the end of the summer with Ernst & Young, I ultimately decided that's where I wanted to be. You know, the other experiences I had were great, but I wanted to take the safe, stable route that would build my resume and give me a ton of opportunities in the future. And if you have a Big Four accounting firm on your resume and have an accounting degree and ultimately get a certification like the CPA or the CISA or some other certification, you know, you can really write your own ticket and set yourself up for a great career somewhere. So that's what I decided to do, and ultimately it was the right call. Like, I needed to create a good foundation of work experience at a great firm, and you know, that set me up for success in the future. So anyway, I decided this before my senior year, so I got to enjoy most of my senior year, or at least stress less. I don't know how much. I was a little too serious back then, so I didn't really enjoy myself, but I was able to take it easy a little more during senior year, knowing that I had a job lined up after college. On the blogging end, things were going really well. Twitter was blowing up. My stock twits had tens of thousands of followers, more than I could have ever imagined. And the founder of StockTwits and you know, somebody that's become a good mentor and friend of mine now, Howard Linden, was running a contest at the time. Basically, give me a reason why I should fly you out, all expenses paid, to the StockTwits StockToberfest conference that was happening in San Diego. And I don't know what my response was, but basically, like, I was like, I don't know if I deserve it, but it would be great if I could get some experience, and I've been working hard, and hopefully that's showing in the work that I'm doing. And so a couple days later, I got a tweet back or a reply, and he's like, all right, you're in. And so this was freaking awesome. Like, the work that I was doing for fun on the side was paying dividends. And I got to go on my first plane ride, go to San Diego where I had never been, and meet a ton of professionals, all at the age of like 19 or 20. And I didn't have to pay for any of it. Like, this was a dream come true. It was awesome. And it really continued to show me that the work that I was doing on the technical analysis side was something that I could, you know, do in the future as a career if I really wanted to. So shout out Howard. He's awesome, and appreciate everything he's done for me. This was a picture of Coronado in San Diego. This was the view from my hotel room. Like, this was crazy. I had never experienced anything like this in my life. I'd never even been on a plane, and here I was being flown to like one of the most beautiful places in the US or even the world, and I didn't have to pay for shit. And I was like, man, this is awesome. Like, I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. So Coronado is awesome. If you haven't visited, I would definitely recommend it. And later that year and early into 2016, that traction continued. Like, my articles got in Business Insider. I started writing for All Star Charts and JC Peretz more frequently as a guest blogger. I had like 70,000 followers on StockTwits, Benzinga, and then even Josh Brown's blog, The Reformed Broker, who I had like grown up reading and like had met a few times, and you know, really enjoyed his work and looked up to him. You know, one of my articles got posted on his blog. So like, I was just through the moon. Things were awesome. And, you know, and it was just really awesome to see something that I started as kind of like a passion project on the side, really start to blow up and, you know, provide a lot of different opportunities for me. So that was cool. All right, before we continue the story, I've got a special guest here to thank the 10 subscribers I have as of recording this video. If you want to get thanked with them too, click that subscribe button real quick. But for now, take it away, Matt.
Whoever we forgot, we love you and we love you. By the way, this is the best time I've ever had.
Oh, that was awesome. Big thank you to Matt Damon for stopping by and thanking the subscribers. And if you weren't subscribed and want to be thanked in the next video, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that bell as well, and check back for the next video to get your thanks. Anyway, let's move back into the story. Here's a quick summary of my time at Ernst & Young. Right after college, I joined as an internal audit consultant or a risk consultant, and spent about a year and a half there. I was part of the financial services division, so I got to work with Bank of America, JP Morgan, companies like that, not necessarily those companies, but the largest financial services firms in the world and really got to understand how they work, the processes behind them, things of that nature. So that was a great experience. But for me, I did a very poor job of managing my work and my life, and that really took a toll. Basically, this middle screen of like the mood of Tina from Bob's Burgers and a computer crashing screen is basically what summarized my time there. Like, I was super depressed. I didn't manage my time well and just took on way too much work, tried to be a hero. And at the end of the day, I was the top performer. I got a 5 rating, but really I sacrificed pretty much every aspect of my life to achieve that. And I just knew it wasn't sustainable. So overall, it can be a really good experience working at a Big Four accounting firm, but you just have to know how to manage your expectations and know what game you're playing, because I certainly didn't, and it was not a good time for me. One good thing that did happen while I was still working at Ernst & Young is that I reconnected with an old friend. We started hanging out more and ultimately started dating. And honestly, this is probably the most important aspect of my entire story, because dating her has changed the entire trajectory of my whole life. And I'm not saying that sarcastically or exaggerating or whatever, but like, just my relationship with her has basically opened up a whole new realm of like understanding the world and knowing what's possible and having confidence in myself and having confidence in us as a couple. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it is by far the best thing to happen to me so far. And investing time and energy into our relationship has been the best investment that I could have ever made. I have way too many pictures to count of us together, so I just put some generic ones of places that we've been and things that we've done. So, we spent a month traveling Europe together. We lived in New York City for 2 years together. We've done pretty much, you name it. Most of my best life experiences have been with her. So shout out to Monica if you're watching this, which I hope you are. Come on, you got to support the channel. Jeez, subscribe, man. What are you doing? I'm kidding. Point being, she has been the absolute best thing that happened to me, and she's going to be a huge part of my story going forward. And we're just great life partners, and I love her so much. So I couldn't possibly tell my story without including her in here. So love you, babe. Thanks for watching, and let's move on. Shortly after we started dating, I made the leap and decided to leave Ernst & Young. And this is me leaving. That was my name tag. And then I joined All-Star Charts. You might remember that I was working with All-Star Charts and JC Peretz during college. I interned there. And then finally, when his firm grew to be large enough, he decided that he needed more help. And because I knew the process, I was good at the job, I was an obvious choice. So I joined in early 2018, spent about 3 years there until the end of 2020, and had some of the best experiences of my life. Technical analysis and doing this type of work really opened up a ton of doors for me. And I was really proud of the work we did, and just that I was able to contribute to the financial community in the way that I did. When I first joined the firm, there was only a couple of us, and my job was to mainly be a mini JC in terms of writing research and keeping things in order so that he could go out and grow the business, bring on more people, and do everything that is required of running a startup and managing people. So I filled that role really well. And as the firm grew, I started to take on more and more responsibilities, started running our India business, wrote research for our institutional product. And we did a lot of awesome things over those 3 years that I was there. And really proud of the work we did. We won some awards for our research. I got to present at some conferences alongside some of the people that I grew up reading and looking up to, so that was amazing. Got to be on Real Vision TV, and I even ended up in India. One of our clients was getting married, and I was running our India business at the time, so I was like, why not? Let's go to the wedding. Let's go hang out. And I spent 2 weeks in India, and got to do some awesome stuff there. So it was the experience of a lifetime, and I really appreciate the time that I spent there and learned a lot. And yeah, I even got to be in Bloomberg in India. Like, there's just way too much stuff to pack into, a 30-second summary here. But it was a really good experience. And by the end of it, I felt ready to move on and good about the work that I had done there. So yeah, here at the end of 2020, this is kind of my farewell post. I wrote something quick, just kind of recapping the last 3 years and just letting people know that I was moving on from All-Star Charts and that, I was super proud of the work we did, but, the business was heading in a different direction. Me, personally, I didn't know if I wanted to be in the research business anymore. I had some other goals I wanted to try to meet. And, at the end of the day, my biggest goal was to help my parents pay off their debt, and I had accomplished that. And so I finally could take a step back and try to think, what do I actually want in life? What do I want to work on? And how do I ultimately want to spend my time? So that brings us to 2021. Like I said, spent most of the year just trying to figure out what I'm going to do. And now I'm going to launch this business. So, initially I was trying to day trade to make some money, and I didn't enjoy it, didn't fit my personality. Our lease was up in New York City, and we decided not to renew it. There's no real reason to be there right now. So we moved back home, kind of reset our roots in Long Island, hanging out with my dog, getting some exercise, trying to be a little more healthy, make up for the last 3 years of just kind of sitting and working constantly. Traveled to Key West, went to San Francisco, went a few other places. Took a picture with the back of the Facebook sign, not the front. Meta sign. And then ultimately I finished my CPA exams, which was another kind of ultimate goal that I had after college that I never really took care of. So finally done with the CPA and applying for my license now. But at the end of the day, the last 12 months or so of rest and relaxation has allowed me to figure out exactly what I want to do, and that is build this business, build a financial edutainment brand, and ultimately see if I can do what I love and also get paid for it. I think that's a lot of people's goals, and it's a very scary thing to do, but I think I can do it, so why not give it a shot? All right, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I probably left some stuff out, but at this point, you know more about me than most people, so hope you enjoyed the video and getting to know me personally. With that, make sure to hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, subscribe so you don't miss any future videos, and in the comment section down below, let me know what part you enjoyed most, anything you found interesting, or if you just want to tell me to make shorter videos in the future, make sure to leave that in the comments down below. Thank you guys, and I'll see you guys back here for another video sometime soon.